You don't need sunglasses in here. Take them off, please, and introduce yourself to your new classmates. Okay then, here goes. I took them off and looked up. The kids closest to me gasped. The ones at the back came to take a closer look. What was I? An animal in a zoo? Hi, I'm Brittany, often known as Queer Eye. That's because I have a condition called heterochromia, which in my case means one eye is hazel and the other is blue. People were always staring and making fun of me, but honestly, I didn't care. Who wants to be normal anyway? I thought it was pretty cool. Almost like I was a mutant from X-Men. Besides, I'm pretty much the smartest girl in class. Pretty blonde hair or perfect blue eyes won't make you less dumb at math. I could stand up to the mean girls myself, but it felt good to have my best friend Emily by my side, always ready to defend me. But I was probably the world's worst friend. That's because I was so in love with Emily's boyfriend, Jake. He had just been so nice to me since my first day here, and then I found out he was taken. One day, we were hanging out at Emily's place and watching our favorite channel, My Story Animated. I sneaked a glance at Emily and Jake, and it made my heart hurt. I'd take this secret to my grave. I went back home and couldn't find my key. I banged on the door till my hands hurt. After ages, some random woman opened the door. Who are you? And what's wrong with your eyes? Who are you? And what are you doing in my house? I literally had to show her my ID before she let me in. Seeing the pile of dishes and all the mess made me so angry at Dad. Ever since Mom had left us when I was 4, Dad had just stopped caring about me. All he did was spend money on himself and bring home a new bimbo every other day. I slammed my bedroom door shut and put on some loud music, singing along with the only thing that made me feel good. Some days, I felt so lonely around here. I really wish I had a sibling. One evening, when I answered the doorbell, I was shocked to see who was standing there. It was a tall, lanky boy who looked a couple of years older than me, and he had the same eyes. One hazel, one blue. I asked him who he was, but he just made a weird face and pushed his way in. I'm your brother. I wanted to laugh and tell the doofus he had the wrong house, but the eyes were making me feel uncertain. What if? Just then, Dad walked in. Oh, you're already here. Brittany, meet Kevin. I couldn't believe what my two-toned eyes were seeing. I knew Dad had a string of girlfriends all over, but was he just casually going to drop a half-brother on me? I'm hungry. Jeez, there's nothing in the fridge. Cook me up a meal, sis. Dad said Kevin was going to live with us now and would be going to the same school as me. Great. We'd be the weird-eyed sibling team. The next day at recess, I thought I'd show him around, but clearly he needed no help from me. He was already busy discussing football with the jocks, and all the cheerleaders were hanging around him. Your eyes are just fascinating. Wait, what? I was getting mocked all the time, and this was just making him popular. So unfair. The more I got to know him, the dumber he seemed to me. All he did was eat, play football, and watch TV. Why did God send me such a stupid guy, and could I return him? I had more important things to focus on. I was part of the team participating in the nationwide math triathlon, and I was so proud when I led my team straight to victory. When I got back to school, I rushed to find Emily to tell her about it. Suddenly, I spotted Jake in the cafeteria, and my heart did a funny little jump. When I asked him where Emily was, he said she'd left school early today. Then he spotted the medal around my neck. Oh, Brittany, congrats. Of course I knew you'd win. You're the smartest person I know. And then he suddenly hugged me. Okay, Jake, this might just be a friendly hug to you, but my stomach is doing backflips right now. Later, as I was listening to sad ballads in my room and singing along to them in my mirror, Kevin barged in. I shouted at him for coming in without knocking, but he just jumped onto my bed. So, it doesn't take Einstein to figure out you've got boy trouble, sad sack. Who's the guy? Shut up, you don't know anything. Sis, math trophies aren't going to get you the guy. And don't you have a cute skirt or a pretty top? Kevin, are you trying to tell me you're gay? You know I'm right. Here, why don't you try this out? It'll get you noticed. I looked down at the flyer for cheerleading tryouts. Well, you know what? Why not? It would help take my mind off of Jake, and I don't mind a new challenge. A couple of weeks later, I raced to the gym for the tryouts. The cheerleaders started laughing when they saw me there. Lost your way or something? No, I'm here for the tryouts. This is going to be so much fun. For us, of course. I ignored her and went up to the coach. She told me to show her some basic cheerleading moves to the music. I was having so much fun showing off my acrobats. Those YouTube tutorials were really paying off. I finished off the routine with a cartwheel. The coach told me I was chosen. I walked away with a smug smile. Looking at those dumbos with their mouths open was worth all the bruises I'd gotten in the last 2 weeks. Emily was really surprised to see me in my cheerleading outfit, and even more shocked that I'd joined the team. I told her I just wanted to try new things. Besides, I think the outfit is pretty cute. Looks good, right? You looked just fine in your own clothes too, Brittany. Geez, why'd you have to be so perfect, Jake? Turns out everybody else in high school was pretty stupid. I could just see people looking at me differently when I started going around in my cheerleading outfit. Add a ponytail and some makeup, and suddenly every boy will want to talk to you. After a practice game one day, Ricky walked up to me and asked me if I'd like to go to the homecoming dance with him. I almost wanted to say no, but I caught sight of Jake and Emily just then and said yes. Walking in on Ricky's arm, I felt pretty good about myself. I had to admit, being popular was fun. I got so many compliments on my dress, which, weirdly enough, Kevin had picked out for me at the mall. As a slow dance number came on and Ricky pulled me close, I stopped feeling happy. He wasn't the one I wanted to dance with. Wait, was I imagining things? Why did it feel like Jake kept looking at me? Our eyes met every now and then, and I swear I felt sparks. At the end of the dance, I looked around for Kevin but noticed he and his friends were missing. I'd told the idiot I'd be going back home with him. I told Ricky to drop me home, and I was not ready for what was waiting for me. There was a party in full swing at my house. The whole football team and all the cheerleaders were busy dancing and eating pizza. I found Kevin on the sofa making out with the head cheerleader. So gross. I dragged him away and asked him how he was even paying for this. Stole Dad's credit card. I just stormed off to my room and locked the door, trying to cover my ears with a pillow all night. When I went downstairs the next morning, I looked around in horror. The whole place was trashed, and Kevin was nowhere to be seen. I'd been a fool thinking he wasn't all that bad. If he thought I was going to clean up everything, he could think again. I took pictures of the mess and sent them to Dad with a text. Come now. By the time Kevin had turned up in the evening, Dad was already waiting for him. And boy, did he go off on him. He was grounded for a month, without any allowance. You're such a snitch, Brittany. I was gonna take care of things before he got back. You'll pay for this. Kevin obviously stopped talking to me. Emily kept asking me to hang out with her and Jake, but I was avoiding him since the dance. I'd been getting so distracted by everything lately. I got an A- on a test. I tried to focus on studying, but found myself writing soppy song lyrics in my notebook. I saw a sign-up sheet on the school board the next day. The drama club needed backstage volunteers. I immediately put my name down. I needed a distraction, and this stuff would look good on my college application. When I went to the auditorium later, I was shocked that Jake was one of the volunteers. Haven't seen much of you lately. Yeah, just been busy. You know, school and stuff at home. I sounded so lame. He could probably see right through my lies. We were painting one of the cardboard sets, and we had just started talking. Like the first time we'd met. It was so easy, like we'd known each other forever. I had really missed this. I climbed onto a tall stool to paint a part out of my reach, and suddenly, I felt it wobble under my feet. OMG, I was gonna crash. As I fell down with a scream, Jake caught me just before I hit the ground. Are you okay? I looked into his eyes. My knight in shining armor. Snap out of it, idiot. I stood up straight, feeling shaken, and realized he was still holding my hand. Suddenly, he pulled me close, and we kissed. It was every bit as magical as I thought it would be. A moment later, I pulled back, feeling horrified. I'd just kissed my best friend's boyfriend. I ran away before Jake could say a word. The next day, I had no idea how I would face Emily at school. I really wished I could just skip it. Later, I really wish I had. As I put my things in my locker and turned around, I got a sharp slap on my face. Standing before me was Emily, looking furious. How dare you kiss my boyfriend? You were the one person who I never thought would betray me. Everyone in the corridor was staring at us in silence. Emily, please listen. Don't even try to deny it. Your brother sent me a picture of you two. You're even worse than all those mean popular girls you always mocked. She turned and walked away, and I burst into tears and ran out. I went home, and the minute I saw Kevin on the couch, I attacked him. How could you do this? What were you doing? Going around spying on me? So what if I was? Any idiot could see those puppy eyes you make at Jake. I knew something was up, and you snitched first. Just then, Dad walked in on the two of us wrestling on the floor. Hey, idiots. cut it out. I have some important news. He sat down on the couch and slowly told us that his last girlfriend had scammed him and stolen everything he had. Like, literally wiped him clean. We'll have to move into your aunt's place. I might have to sell this house. I couldn't believe it. I hated my aunt. Why were the men in my life so selfish and stupid? My aunt wasn't happy to see the three of us turning up with our suitcases. She glared at me like it was somehow my fault. I think she just hated me because she never got along with Mom. I was dreading going to school after the weekend. How was I ever going to face Emily again? And what about Jake? My eyes locked with Emily's for a second, and I waved to her, but she just walked on like I didn't even exist. Jeez, this was killing me. Moping alone on the bleachers during recess, I suddenly felt a hand on my shoulder. Jake! He sat down next to me. Brittany, Emily and I broke up. How could my heart be soaring and sinking at the same time? Since the first day I met you, I thought you were the coolest person. I can't help it. I think I'm in love with you, Brittany. How many times had I imagined him saying this to me? This wasn't supposed to feel so bad. I got up, crying. I love you too, Jake, but I've already hurt and lost the best person I know. I can't be with you. Please, don't come near me again. It was so hard to walk away from him. I dropped out of cheerleading. I didn't need these fake, stupid friends. I missed my real friends, Emily and Jake, so much. In any case, I didn't have time to be a cheerleader. I'd picked up a job at a diner as a waitress to start saving money. I couldn't rely on Dad to see me through college. At our graduation rehearsal, I saw Emily talking and laughing with our classmates, and it made my heart hurt that we wouldn't be celebrating together. We would just go our own ways after school and never see each other again. Kevin walked into my room one day holding a large box. What's that? And what are you even doing here? I want to make it up to you for ruining everything. This is just a start. Reluctantly, I opened the box to find a beautiful dress. He said he'd been saving up to get me a grad dress because I didn't really have good taste. Also, I have a plan to fix things with Emily. Want to hear it? On graduation day, I was valedictorian for our class and was asked to come up on the stage to make my speech. My heart was pounding. I was almost at the end of it. This was it. In the end, I just want to say that being in high school would not have been the same without one very special person. I know I've messed up big time, and I want to make it up to her with a song I wrote. I could see Emily's shocked face in the crowd. On all the roads and all the bends, you were there for me, my one true friend. You're the best person I've ever met. The times with you I can't forget. Hope it's not too late to make amends, and we'll see each other to the end. I know I'm not as good as Britney Spears, but losing you is one of my biggest fears. I know what I did was wrong, so I'm writing you this song. When it ended, Emily was the first one on her feet, and she was smiling and crying and clapping. As the crowd also started to applaud, I ran to her and we hugged. She laughed and said I was the lamest person ever. She pulled me to one side and let out a deep breath. Also, Brittany, I forgive you. And you should ask Jake out. You two are a good match. I promise I'm not mad anymore. Go ask him now. I hugged her tight and looked around for Jake, but I couldn't see him anywhere. I rushed out of the auditorium and spotted him walking away in the distance. Jake! He turned around, looking really surprised, and waited for me to catch up to him. I saw your performance in there. I'm so happy you and Em are gonna be okay. Jake, Emily is okay with us, if you still want to be with me. I've written loads of songs for you too. I mean, they're basically all about you but before I could finish, Jake pulled me close and kissed me, and it felt absolutely right this time.